Maybe I'm crazy, but I have no idea why you're sitting so weird.
Is that the real one?
No, but just why?
Just I can't. You want me to?
The whole thing moves, so you could just adjust it to however you're more comfortable.
Look at it now. When I had it right.
It's just no words ever.
Look at this. It hit my computer laptop, and now I gotta find what space I was at. And he was wearing Gucci slippers.
I feel like honestly, I feel like Jim from The Office when I'm doing that. I'm just like staring into the camera while you figure this thing out.
Oh, I didn't know.
Huh? Oh my God.
Andrew WK did it, I think.
Okay.
Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm not, maybe I'm not.
Welcome to the Maybe I'm Crazy podcast. I'm Joy Taylor.
We just did that.
We did. That was the thing that just happened. I apologize for it, but that did just happen. Cliff Avril joins us today.
Can't be out here like that, Joy.
Yes, we not pre-interview, but we prep our guests obviously before we come on. And I had a hot take in the meeting yesterday, the prep meeting. But he hasn't watched The Office.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But I feel like Russell Wilson is religious Dwight Schrute.
It's a great take.
And eventually, one day, we will find a Seahawk who has watched The Office, and we will ask him.
Actually, let's just get this started now.
If we can't, he doesn't watch The Office.
I'm saying we got to find a Seahawk.
Oh, yeah. So if you're a Seahawk and you're watching, and you'd like to confirm or deny that Russell Wilson is religious Dwight Schrute, let us know. Drop a comment.
Yes.
Shoot us an email, micpodcast@fox.com. Let us know.
DM's very popular.
Anyway, Cliff Avril joins us. He's a former Seahawk, and we will talk to him about Russell Wilson and lots of other stuff. So let's get started with Cliff Avril. All right, Cliff Avril, thank you so much for joining us on the Maybe I'm Crazy podcast. You've had a long day today.
Yeah, a little long. Hit every show up so far.
Yeah, we like to do that. Yeah, we call it the car wash. Well, we didn't coin that before we get
right.
But that's what it is.
Yeah.
So I was just telling you I was in Seattle 2 weeks ago for the Rams game, and Seattle kind of finally just got the running game going. They're kind of interesting.
They're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, this year, because it was at the beginning of the season, everyone was like, all right, Seattle's done. That was fun. And then now Earl Thomas, obviously, a huge loss for them. And the Legion of Boom is dead. And when you hear that, does that make you sad?
Legion of Boom is dead. You know what? All good things must come to an end. I mean, at the end of the day, too, we're in the NFL, and what we had for 5, 6, 7 years, that doesn't happen in the NFL. Typically guys start, year 3, 4, either getting hurt or going to other teams. So being able to keep everyone together, I thought was huge. So you got to look at that from a positive standpoint too.
Yeah, and getting a Super Bowl out of any
Yes.
any group that was deserved the name is what every NFL team sets out to do.
For sure. I mean, people dwell on not winning the second one, but winning one is so hard. You know what I'm saying? I know guys that play forever and never make it to the playoffs, let alone the Super Bowl. So to be able to win one, hey, I'm geeked. I'm always considered a Super Bowl champ, so I ain't tripping on that.
Man.
But the second one, is that I mean,
go ahead, spit it out.
Because I don't like to revisit terrible moments, but everybody talks about it, and that's kind of set the spiral to where the Seahawks are now, because there's a lot of talk about the defense, and maybe you can confirm or deny some of this, being really kind of upset with the offense, particularly Pete Carroll. Did he throw that because he didn't want Marshawn Lynch to be MVP? There's a lot of things that happen off that second Super Bowl.
Well, let me answer the first part of that. I always look at things half full, not half empty, because
amen.
Because my career started off 0-16. You know what I'm saying? So to be able to win a Super Bowl, I'm fortunate. So I'm not the
Lions.
Exactly.
We'll get to that.
Only player to do it, by the way, to go 0-16 and win a Super Bowl. So I look at things that way. Now having two, obviously, I would love to have 2 rings, but having one is great. Back to the other topic was with the offense and the defense. People, I think, the stories that you guys are reading and myself are reading is stating that people had issues with particularly the quarterback, Russell Wilson. But at the end of the day, anybody that's ever played football, like yourself, has a quarterback ever been treated the same at any level?
No.
Exactly. So people had an issue with the quarterback being treated differently, but in football in general, from high school on up, heck, I was a D1 scholarship player, and my quarterback on my high school team got treated better than me. Like, that's just what it is.
But who had a problem with the quarterback being treated better?
I'm reading the same things you read. They're all miscellaneous. I'm reading the same. But that being said, like, honestly, while I was in Seattle, I didn't see that from that angle. Like, I never really seen. Now, after the fact, people are starting to come out and say things, but I never really paid attention to that because Russell has always been a good dude to me, and I can only look at that perspective. He's always been. He's been there anytime I need him, functions, family, whatever I needed, and he would come and ask me questions about fatherhood and different things like that. So I've never had any issues with Russ. So when I see these stories, sometimes it's like kind of shocking a little bit, honestly, because I don't know that person they talking about.
Well, you're saying that all the rumblings we heard about this defense and the tumultuous relationship, that never affected the day-to-day of like how y'all came to work and got work done for the Seahawks?
So in the NFL and pretty much like college as well, I mean, offense and defense are two different teams all week long, right?
All week long.
I don't know their game plan. I don't know anything about what they're doing. So, for me to say that we didn't see Russ, that's normal. Like, I don't see Russ till I go to practice. You know what I mean? Or he's like the last person into the locker room, probably because he's studying or he's trying to get his play. Like, he has the biggest playbook out of everybody, right? So I never paid attention to that.
Right.
At the end of the day, too, for me, I mean, I got to worry about myself. I'm the old man in the locker room, so I'm trying to get warmed up. And I never paid attention to it.
What do you think of kind of the new trend in the NFL now with everything kind of skewing offense? You've got the roughing the passer penalties. You can't hit the quarterback. And, teams are putting up crazy points.
Yeah.
And I kind of liken it to the shift that happened in the NBA with the 3-point shot. What's happening in the NFL right now? But do you feel like the defense is kind of wearing it a little bit right now?
That's a good comparison. I like that. I think the big thing for a defensive player, it sucks to be one right now. It sucks to be a pass rusher. It's probably a good year for me to have gotten out because guys guys are really tearing their knee up. The guy, I forget his name, the guy in Tampa tore his knee up trying not to fall. No, don't wish that on my man. But he tore his knee up trying to navigate how to tackle a quarterback when they should be tackled just like anybody else. Now, I understand, there's certain plays that you don't want to get these guys hurt, but guys are really getting fined and hurt by just trying to figure out how to tackle one individual. So I don't agree with that. But now scoring points and all that stuff, it's good for the fans. But as a defensive player, you're not trying to be out there for that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel for defensive players. My brother played for 15 years, so I feel for him. But
he was one of my guys I used to watch film of.
Oh, very nice. Let him know. But I haven't actually asked him about it. I probably should. But I love defense for that reason. But I also I feel like you got to go with the trend. Like, one of the things I feel like got Jason in the Hall of Fame was strip sacks, force and fumbles. Like, he has the record for most amount returned for touchdowns. Like, to me, that's a more effective play. At first, the penalties are annoying. Anytime you have an overly penalized game, I'm out. Like, I don't care about the refs. I don't want to see your face. I don't care who you are. Like, I don't want every single play to be. You could call a penalty on every single play. You could call holding on every single play. You could call pass interference on every single play. So I don't like over penalizing players. But if this is the new wave, you have to evolve.
You do have to evolve, but what I'm saying is, if we're talking about player safety, that's everybody. That's all 22 players.
Well, look,
not just one.
Let's keep it real. All right.
Yes, because they get paid.
It's not really about player safety. Like, it is about player safety, but y'all don't get lifetime health benefits. So I don't not really. About player safety.
I'm all in with you. What I'm saying is, what they're preaching is player safety.
But
they're preaching protect the most expensive person out there.
Right.
But they're also preaching player safety in implementing these rules to keep that going. But I'm pretty sure I saw Clay Matthews finish on CJ Beathard, Beathard at the end, and didn't get called.
Right.
There's plenty of helmet to helmets all week long that didn't get called. All these game calls and all these refs calls are all subjective. It's been subjective since you started playing football. So preaching that you're doing this to implement and make sure that players are safe is complete bullshit, because they don't even call the calls that are created to keep players safe. How many helmets have you seen that they haven't got called?
Yeah, I mean, Ian Burfict just ran into Antonio Brown.
But see, helmet to helmet, if it's intentional, there's no room for that. But in all reality, if you're trying to hit with your shoulder pad, guess what else is going to get hit? Your head's going to hit too.
And look, I'm with you. Like, it's almost impossible to call because if you're flying through the air, we watch things in slow motion. We have that ability, so it skews your mind.
Right.
The game is fucking fast. You can't change the direction of your body when you're flying through the air. So some of those calls are going to go the wrong way.
And then as a defensive player, right? So anybody in here or whatever, if someone swings at you, you're going to flinch and you're going to duck. Right. Like, that's just point blank. It's no different for a football player that's a wide receiver that catches the ball and he sees another person coming.
Yeah, he's going to brace himself.
He braces himself, right? So as the defender that's coming in, you can't adjust how you about to hit this guy because you don't know where he's going. So that's a big part of why, these calls are getting called. But it's so lopsided. It's only to protect the quarterbacks. It's only to protect the people that score a lot of points, in my opinion.
Well, speaking of quarterbacks and scoring a lot of points, I feel like Drew Brees broke obviously the
Boilermaker
record.
Yes.
I'm assuming that's your guy. I feel like Aaron Rodgers is always compared to Tom Brady, and
he doesn't get enough credit.
Aaron Rodgers?
No, Drew.
I agree with you. I actually feel like the proper comparison is Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers. Yes. And I think that Drew Brees is a better quarterback.
Yeah, but also Drew Brees is also about 5 or 6 years older than him as well, right? I think this is year 16 for Brees. This might be 11, I think, or 12.
Drew Brees is 39, so it's probably around.
You think Aaron Rodgers is in a position to, with the team that's around him right now in Green Bay, you think he's in a position to even catch up to any of Drew Brees' records?
No, not anytime soon. But now again, in 5 years, a lot of things can happen, right? These quarterbacks are playing to their 40, 41.
That's true.
Right now, as it stands right now,
I'm a Boilermaker, so
yeah.
Okay,
there you go.
You don't have to qualify it because then it makes it seem like you're not really backing me up.
You didn't really bought that take life.
No, but I mean, again, Drew has done a lot of great things, but at the end of the day, I agree with the comparison. Should be Drew and Aaron. Tom is by himself.
Right.
That just is what it is, right? Because, 5 Super Bowls, he's by himself.
He solidified that.
Two Super Bowls ago.
I was like, Sunday night, he solidified that for me.
Yeah.
It's like, dude's not stopping.
Oh, it took Sunday night.
Well, I'm
one of the guys trying to get him up out of here. I'm like, this is the year. He's dead. The Belichick, the reign is over.
Guess what? He's never dead. Okay? Until Tom Brady says out of his face, no one else's face, until Tom Brady makes the mouth sounds, says, I am retired.
No, his body's going to break down eventually.
Eventually, he's
going
to stop.
But again, the way they protect him, the way they protect quarterbacks, they're the only players that can play till they're 40.
Kickers.
Right.
And kickers, if you're fortunate. But everybody else, your career is over by 32 if you're fortunate.
Well, yeah, but I mean that's just the nature of the game, though. Like that
doesn't make it better.
Right, so
that doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it right.
The other team on Sunday night, the Chiefs. So I picked the Rams and the Steelers to be in the Super Bowl at the beginning of the year, but the Chiefs are kind of ruining my take a little bit. And obviously they're gonna have to.
The who and the who?
The Rams and Steelers.
Okay.
Steelers I'm not so sure about because they got some issues. But how bad is the Chiefs defense? Because it's so bad.
It's what they're ranked last in the
yes. In total defense,
NFL. Yeah, that's pretty bad. And then to have this rookie quarterback, Mahomes, man, putting it all on his shoulder, all on his back, like to be able to do what he's been doing over the last 6 weeks is impressive. If he just had a little bit of help, this team can ride it all the way out. But I'm skeptical to see how he plays out towards the end of the season, once people start to figure out what kind of quarterback he really is and start trying to scheme him and really see what he can do. But their defense, they need some help. They need Justin Houston to get healthy. Yeah. They need some guys to be able to get after quarterbacks. And if they can get that, I think the sky's the limit for that team.
I can't trust them.
You can't trust any team that doesn't have a defense. I can't trust the defense.
Like obviously, I'm all in on the offense. Like. Of course, and I think they have the most weapons of anybody in the league. Yep. But Sunday night, to me, although I will say Sunday night to me wasn't. I'm not into moral victories, but I feel like it was.
Don't say "but" after you say something.
I know.
Then that means you believe what you just said.
I know. But I just know. I know
what you're saying.
But it was. I wouldn't feel bad about that loss. Like you never want to accept losing. Yeah. But the way that how do you feel about that?
There's no such thing as moral victories. Was definitely learning curves, right? There's learning points from that.
Turn all your L's into lessons.
Lessons, exactly.
Okay,
Turn,
yes.
See, that would have been a better but than just yeah.
I'll work on it.
So turn your L's into lessons. Exactly. You learn a lot about your team. You learn, what your team's made of. At least on the offensive side of the ball. So there's learning. There's definitely a learning part to that. But there's no such thing as moral victory. Not in the NFL. Not in college. Maybe when your kids are in elementary school.
I mean, that defense is bad, but there are some strips. There's a strip sack. There were some moments where they had moments where they stepped up, but they are playing against Tom Brady.
A broke clock is right twice a day.
I know, and I can't wait to have time. I'm just like, ooh, yeah, it's gonna be right.
So, it's gonna be right
I hope I see it when it's right.
It's gonna be right so soon. Speaking of the Raiders.
Yeah.
Oh man.
What do you make of that? Because we in the media love John Gruden because he's just content machine.
Yeah, for sure.
But I feel bad for the Raiders fans. I just feel bad.
I feel bad one because Marshawn is my guy. That's a good friend of mine, and I feel bad that he can't win them games for his city because he's literally all about. He came out of retirement just to play for his team, right? So I feel bad for him from that standpoint. I feel bad for some of the other players like Bruce Irvin because they're there to win football games. Now, when a new coach comes in, and I may have mentioned this earlier, when a new coach comes in, they want their players, right? Like I said earlier, I went 0-16. That coach came in, he revamped the whole team. He might have kept maybe 10 guys from the year before. So coaches want to do that. And in that process is growing pains. And unfortunately, the guys that have been there are going through that growing pain as Gruden tries to figure out what he wants to do with this team and what direction they want to go in.
So, do you think there's some hope there? Because I know we all kind of live in the moment.
Right now, today, no.
I feel bad for Oakland. They're losing them.
Yes.
They're losing the Warriors,
Yes.
and they're about to go to Vegas.
They're not losing the Warriors.
Oh, okay.
Like the
Warriors.
The Oakland is losing the Raiders.
Okay.
Like they're moving
that.
their arena.
I'll let you say that.
But look, no, Oakland is losing the Warriors. Okay, yes, they're going across the bridge, but they're going to a whole different fan base. Like those people on the other side of the bridge.
Yeah.
That's like the suburbs and the
they
railroad tracks.
They've been traveling.
That's the suburbs
It's a different place.
with the railroad tracks. The suburbs is on one side, the hood is on the other. That's basically what's going on
But
right
the
there.
whole team is leaving the city, is what I mean.
That's
like,
terrible.
It's going to Vegas.
It's bad.
It's bad for Oakland.
That's bad.
It's
It's bad for that whole
us,
city,
though.
man. That city, they don't have anything to root for, and that's the Raiders have been bad for a long time. And guess what? They have a ton of hardcore fans that still come to their games.
Yeah.
So what do those people
Raiders
do?
fans are some of the best.
Right.
It's like one of the best fan bases in all of sports.
Yeah. And you're talking about growing pains. Like I was a part of Notre Dame. I got there the year after they went 3-8, worst record in Notre Dame history. Brian Kelly came, revamped the program. Now they're 6-0. You know what I mean? Probably looking at a playoff berth. But like I'm saying, like we had to take our lumps while I was there, so that they can be successful now.
I like that you're claiming a Notre Dame today and not Ball State.
Well, I claim Ball State. Ball State just won homecoming this weekend.
We used to run through Ball State.
Yeah, you run through Notre Dame.
Have I beaten?
Ain't no running.
Nah,
y'all probably won some games though.
You're right. No, you're right. We didn't.
All right. Speaking of the Lions, are the Lions ever gonna like?
I think they're cursed.
Okay. So I'm a Dolphins fan. I grew up in Pittsburgh, so I root for the Steelers. But what I do is I root for the Dolphins until they get out of the playoff race, and then I just conveniently move over to the Steelers.
Nice.
I can move like that, But.
Yeah. I do that with my college teams.
I don't think. Yes, exactly. I don't think that the Dolphins are going to win Super Bowl as long as I'm alive.
Oh man.
And
but there's a
so
black
far would
quarterback.
support
there's a black president though. Why you've been alive? So anything's possible.
Anything is possible.
Is that the correlation we're gonna use?
Yeah. Like I feel like there'll be a woman president at some
Before
point.
the
Dolphins win.
There will 100% be a female president before the Dolphins win a Super Bowl.
Wow.
I have no fear about that. Yes, please put a poll of that on our Instagram page. I guarantee you, it's who's a goofball that's voting against that. But the Lions, the Lions are kind of one of those teams too. Like it's a legendary franchise, but they can't get right.
I agree. They might be cursed for real. I mean, they've had great players. I mean, at one point in time, our D line while I was there, Kyle Vandenbosch, Sue, Corey Williams, like we had probably one of the best D lines in the NFL, and we also had a quarterback that was solid, Matthew Stafford. We had CJ, Calvin Johnson. So we had players, and yet I think we went to the playoffs. But yet you can't really make those runs. And it boils down to I just feel like they're cursed. I don't know. It's unfortunate because they've had great players, legendary players come through that organization, and they still can't figure it out for whatever reason. I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know. It's not personnel because they tend to get great players. I don't know. It's just something about that team, that organization.
They get the great players because they're willing to play for that time when they get them, and they're also terrible at drafting. I don't think so because they drafted you. They should have drafted you earlier.
I agree.
But you know what I'm saying?
I wish I was a first rounder.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like that, like they struggle getting over the hump, and it's always the coaches. Like, was you Marinelli?
I was with Marinelli, Jim Schwartz. Those two guys.
I mean,
yeah, it was bad. I was trying to break 500 for my total record. Yeah, but the fact that I went 0-16 as a rookie. I could not catch up.
That's a rough way to start your career. They do. The year the Dolphins went 1-15, not a great year, but it did provide one of my favorite all-time sports moments. It was like, because look, it's rough in the household when you're teetering around 0-16. Like,
oh yes,
stressful. There's no happiness. Yes. There's no laughter.
Oh yeah, okay?
Yeah.
I ain't trying to hear nobody laugh. Hey,
right. Everyone is upset.
Turn that TV down.
To the room now.
What's so funny?
But Daddy, I didn't do nothing. I just said hi. I don't want to hear anything.
Exactly. It is just misery.
Put your headphones on.
It is misery. So that Ravens game, when Greg Camarillo caught it from what's his name? I gotta remember his name.
Ravens.
Look it up.
For the Ravens.
No. Greg Camarillo. Touchdown pass for the Dolphins. It was the best moment ever.
There's no way I'm going to remember that.
Yeah, why would you remember that?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'm just saying, it was a great moment. All right, so NBA season kicks off tonight.
Yeah.
Very excited about
big
this.
NBA fan.
We're in LA, so we're all in on the Lakers. I'm a Heat fan. But Cleo Lemon. I'm sorry for disrespecting you, Dolphins fans. I will never forget that again. That is.
You're probably the only. You're not the only person that didn't remember.
Shout out Cleo Lemon. Great Camarillo. Big moment.
Maybe 10 people listening.
10 people listening to this really care. Yeah, enjoy. Anyway, LeBron's obviously with the Lakers, and we're excited about that because we're here in LA and we like content, and that's just an amazing, interesting story.
Yes.
But what do you have a problem with him being with the Lakers, or do you have a problem with like Durant going to the Warriors, or any of these like big moves?
No and no. But honestly, the move to the Lakers, I didn't see that coming.
Oh, you should have been watching the Maybe I'm Crazy podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Where did you think he was going?
Yeah,
I didn't think he was going to the Lakers because the West was so stacked, right? He had it was easier in the East per se because the West has all these great teams, right? But him coming and joining the West, and if he can pull some wins off and actually get to the playoffs and make a run, like it's a no-brainer that he's obviously one of the best player right now to ever play. Well, one of the best players to ever play the game.
Who's the best?
Michael Jordan. What? No,
why
everybody quiet?
It's a debate within the pod. You see, the thing is,
the young players are always going to say
he was the best. No, but the thing is, like, he left.
Who?
Michael Jordan just he retired. He left the game.
He had family issues.
Family. Okay.
His dad just passed, bro.
Okay.
His dad passed, so he tried to figure things out.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna hide behind that.
It's a back and forth with each guest that comes on.
Durability.
Last week it was LeBron. This week it's Michael. I'm with you.
You don't like LeBron?
No, of course I love LeBron. The reason I love LeBron is because he is present. One of the hardest things to do is just show up.
Yeah,
right?
But life happens outside of sports. Sports is just what you do. That's
you are letting Michael Jordan slide.
I'm coming from a professional
father technicality.
I'm coming from a human being aspect too. Now, like as a professional athlete, things happen in your life where the sport, your job, doesn't matter.
Right. No, of course.
So,
but does that not take away from the legacy that is being left?
No.
Because if LeBron ever
I think he's more of a jerk if he decides he wants to keep playing after his dad just passed away. Like, I don't know. It's all perspective. I just think that him leaving was because of a family issue. He came back. The man took 2 years off from basketball and came back and won a championship. Like, how difficult is that to do? How difficult is that? 2 years?
Who's his coach?
Who cares?
I told you about this. LeBron doesn't get any passes on the coaches. He handpicks his coaches. LeBron
handpicks his
team on all personnel.
That's the way the NBA is now. So he's about to get.
He could have gone to San Antonio and played with Popovich.
Anthony Davis and the whole game up.
He was under Pat Riley and chose to leave.
But think about this though, bruh. to leave a professional sport. Ain't nobody doing that in the NFL. First and foremost,
No.
ain't too many people
Different
can leave the NBA for 2 years and come back and win a championship, get an MVP 2 years back to back after you just came off of playing some other sport. Nobody. That's unheard. That makes you even more great.
Because you wouldn't go play another sport if you were the greatest at that sport.
All right,
No,
all right.
go ahead.
Before
I
we
would
let you
love to
go,
play
the NBA right now, who do you think we will see in the championship?
Ooh, that West is tough to figure out.
Man.
The West is so stacked right now. But it's hard to go. I just came back from seeing Golden State play, man, in Seattle, and it's hard to go against those guys. Curry wasn't even there.
Oh, you were at the game at Key
Seattle.
Arena?
Yeah. I went to
how
the
was
game.
that?
Amazing. Seattle came out and showed out, and just watching those guys get down, it was great to see. And watching KD and Clay, Steph wasn't even there, and these guys could not miss a doggone shot. So it's hard to go against Golden State. So I'm gonna stick with them for now. Although I'm a huge LeBron fan, until I see what that team looks like for real. Yeah. It's OKC or not OKC, but Golden State, and then in the East, I'll probably go with Boston.
It's safe. The only thing about Boston.
That's smart. Boston's smart, not safe.
It is smart, but I feel like
Who,
if they have a
Who's-
big injury, that changes things.
Right.
Like
they did
like
well last year
healthy-
without Kyrie. And Gordon Hayward.
Yeah.
So
No, I know.
one of them go down,
Yeah,
they
but
still
that
can
team
be a
without
challenge.
Kyrie and Gordon Hayward is not beating the Warriors.
Not beating
Not
the
that I'm
Warriors.
saying both of them are
Well,
gonna be
we're
injured
talking about the
again,
finals. We
obviously.
didn't say who's going to win.
Right,
We're talking about
right.
making it through the
Making it
East.
to the East,
Making it through the
yeah.
East. I think they can make it without those guys. With those guys, I think they give Golden State a run, but I still think Golden State wins.
I'm hoping the East is interesting all year long.
It will be interesting.
Because it's the only thing that's going to keep it.
Who else is interesting? Okay, you got Philly, you got Boston, you got Toronto.
Toronto. Kawhi Leonard currently looks like Thanos. He is the biggest that we've ever seen.
I mean,
him.
you have the Bucks,
Like
you have the Heat.
The Heat. Don't do us like that. Don't do us like
We
that.
can, and then you can say the Buck, and then
Listen, all I'm saying-
Colin
The
Sexton
Bucks-
for the
the
All I'm
Bucks,
Cavs.
they have
saying
all
is
two
Bam
players.
is balling. That's all I'm saying.
Who?
Bam.
Bam.
Come on, man.
Don't do that bit. All right.
I just think there's maybe three teams in the East that are solid.
Look,
Solid.
you gotta be careful for Toronto.
Toronto,
I know I've been
they're
very
solid.
hard on Toronto,
Solid.
but this is
Yeah.
a different team now.
They're one of the three that I mentioned. But outside of that, who you got?
Well, I mean, look, outside of Golden State, Houston, and OKC, you don't really know what you're getting from anybody in the West.
Lakers.
The Lakers are going to be in the playoffs, and the Lakers are going to make a run.
Utah's gonna be in the
Utah's
playoffs.
solid.
Utah's
Talk it up.
solid.
So that's 5 teams right there. You can't even pull 4 out of the East, really.
I just did.
Who? Don't disrespect us for Miami again.
Yeah, Miami.
And D-Wade's my guy, but don't like, come on. like,
Let me just hope, okay?
Yeah, I mean, hoping and prayer is good.
Yeah, yeah.
Hoping and prayer is good.
Who? Oh, Pacers. Everybody keeps sleeping on the Pacers. Everybody keeps sleeping
Pacers
on
are
the Pacers.
solid.
Everybody
but
keeps sleeping on the Pacers.
They'll
Joy.
They'll be a top in the East, but they're not beating. They need to get Victor some more help.
Yes, I agree.
They need to get Victor some more help.
Well, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Next time you are here in the building and you're doing everybody's show, we hope you do it.
Oh,
the
anytime.
show
This was
again.
fun. This was fun. This is one of the more fun shows. Actually, all of them were fun. But anyways,
No, it's all right. We heard them.
They're gonna edit that like,
Yeah,
yeah, it was crazy.
Yes. Well, we're the most
Nah,
fun.
it was great. No, it was fun. I appreciate you guys having me.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, that.
All right, that was fun. Thanks to Cliff Avril for joining us.
Yes.
Would you like to say something?
Happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday, Mom.
Yay.
I love
Happy
your mom.
birthday.
Your mom is so smiley. She's a big supporter of you and the
She
podcast.
is. She's very active on social media, unfortunately.
And we have similar nieces because both of their names are
Yes,
Zoe.
yes, Zoe and Zoe. And my, I think, what did I want to say? Oh, yeah, going to my high school reunion this weekend for my mom's birthday.
Well, your mom's birthday is awesome.
Yeah.
High school reunions, I can live without.
I figure. I'm sure I
I
have
will
some
not
stories
be
to
going
tell.
to my 20th high school reunion. I went to my 10th.
You went to your 10? This is my 10. It's exciting, right? It's fun. Got to see DeMarcus.
Here's the thing about high school reunions. Once Facebook was invented, it kind of defeated the purpose of high school reunions.
That's a great take.
Like, I'm very good friends
That's a really
with
good
several
take.
people from high school.
Right.
But I see them outside of the reunion, so
Right.
it's like...
And what's a really old one, like 35, like the older reunions. Like when you're older, I've seen my mom go to a reunion. It's
I'm sure
it's kind of a swingers club.
Yeah, I'm sure it starts to get weird after a while.
Yeah.
But good. I can't wait to hear how that goes.
Anyways,
I'd also like to explain that I know I have multiple drinks on the table. So I have my smoothie from this morning, which is kind of my breakfast ish, and then I have coffee.
What kind?
Skinny vanilla latte with almond milk.
Every day.
Specific every day.
Maybe I'm crazy.
I do the same thing every day because I believe in being successful.
Yes.
And I think that if you follow the methods that successful people have, then you also have you also have a tendency to be successful. So successful people do the same thing every day.
Right.
Consistently.
True that.
You are what you habitually do.
Amen.
Right, which is why we have a wardrobe department, so I don't have to think about what I'm wearing.
Right.
And then I park in the same parking spot. And then I eat the same food every day. And it's just you save your brain energy for other things, for creative things, and limit the amount of monotonous things that you have to think about.
I like making
Steve Jobs method.
I'm like
he
making
wore the
everything creative.
same outfit every day.
I know, same pair of jeans and everything. Yeah. I can't do that.
Very successful man, Steve Jobs.
I would like to. I'm actually on a podcast next November wearing the same thing every day. On the podcast.
That's what you're gonna do?
Yep.
All right. You know what? That's a good idea. Do that and see if you are any more successful in your life. I think it's gonna need to be more than 4 days a month, but
Right.
sure.
Okay.
I also have kombucha, better booch to be specific.
Yes. Shouts out.
And some water there. So I'm very hydrated.
Yes.
Hydrate, sort of hydrated for life, and then not hydrated. Coffee dehydrates you, doesn't it? Yeah.
Who's gonna clean that up?
Not me. All right. Time for Wit It or Quit It.
Yes. With it or quit it. With it. Quit it.
What?
With it.
We about to turn up in this bitch.
What am I winning or quitting?
On Sunday night, Tom
The
Brady
stars are
solidified.
brightly shining.
Tom
It
Brady.
is the night
The
of
night
our
time.
dear Savior's birth.
Now, is that considered a gospel song or a Christmas song? Okay, we'll talk about that later. Tom Brady solidified his legendary status while Patrick Mahomes started his own. The game broke records. Brady broke records. Mahomes broke records. And we saw Tom Brady ain't going nowhere no time soon. Joy, losing to the Patriots 43-40 is a win for Mahomes. With it or quit it.
Okay, so we discussed this with Cliff Avril.
Yes.
And I don't believe in moral victories. They don't have a column for that. But it's not the worst loss you could suffer.
No.
And not because it's close, it was the fashion. So basically, if Mahomes hadn't had 2 egregious overthrows very early in the game,
Right.
and had forced into throwing that interception at the end of the half, playing super aggressive when you really should just throw the ball out of bounds and kick a field goal. And I get it, you want to get points against the Patriots, but like stay in the game and don't make mistakes and leave points on the board. On the field, which is what they did, because he easily should have just thrown that. There was no one open. Throw it out of the end zone and kick a field goal. You get the 3 points.
Yeah.
It would have clearly changed the end of the game, and it's not hindsight. It's like that's what you should do.
But you can't ask. He's already doing some otherworldly things on the football field. You can't expect. Andy Reid already doesn't manage the clock
I
well.
expect greatness from the greats. That's what I expect.
It's his first year.
I mean, we've already got a bust. He's got to live up to the expectations now. Okay. All I'm saying is we knew what Tom Brady was going to do because he's Tom Brady and it's Bill Belichick and it's Foxborough. And I think they've gone 26-0 or something in their tenure against quarterbacks that are under 25. There's a little gut data movement fact there. But they're pretty good against young quarterbacks. And I don't even think it was Mahomes' fault that they lost despite those errors. Their defense is super, super stinky. And this is why it makes me nervous about Super Bowl expectations for them, because you have to get stops. Obviously, we know their offense can score hella points. That's what they do. And the second half is evidence of that. They scored 31 points. Obviously, they can do that.
But what the Patriots defense isn't shitty? The Patriots defense doesn't need to be better? This is the first time in NFL history the score of the final score of a game was 43-40. Tom Brady called this by saying these games are turning into college games. It was basically a Big South our Big 12 game out there on the field. And Patrick Mahomes managed to throw for his career high, 353 yards. And 31 points in one half is the most points the Patriots have allowed since 1991.
Okay, but the other thing I think is good about this loss, and I don't accept winning. I don't accept losing. You lose, you lose. And you need to accept that. Figure out which mistakes you made. Yeah. But you weren't going to beat New England twice in a year in Foxborough. So, take the regular season out.
Take the regular season out?
Take the regular season out. Plus, psychologically, what Brady likes to do is show you that you can't beat him, and they know they can beat him. Because if you go back and look at the tape, he makes those 2 throws, which are wide open touchdowns. It's a whole different game. So they have the mentality of, even though our defense is terrible, we can still hang with them, and if we don't make these minor mistakes, then we can beat them in Foxborough. So that's why I think it's important, because it's a whole psychological game with those two, that Brady and that Belichick, you know?
Brady,
the whole thing.
What I said when Brandon was right, I'm going to keep doing that during the show. Tom Brady jetted straight to Patrick Mahomes after the game to show him some love and talk to him, and they had a little chat, little go pre-go,
little Lonzo LeBron chat.
Yeah, a little Lonzo LeBron chat.
Oh, that's nice.
I like that.
Did they cover the?
No, they didn't do all that. I do enjoy that. I was very disappointed what it ended up being. They talked about. It was like,
it's very inspirational.
Yeah.
You know?
Anyways. Okay. Your Steelers were able to get their 3rd win of the season against their division-leading Bengals. Pittsburgh rolls into their bye week, and people are acting like Le'Veon Bell is going to pop up, and the Steelers are going to be Super Bowl contenders. But with that defense, I ain't buying it. Joy, the Steeler with Le'Veon Bell are fool's gold. With it or quit it.
Steelers. Are fool's gold with Le'Veon Bell?
Yeah.
No,
because
they're not fool's gold now with James Conner. Look, I think that Le'Veon, when he does come back, he hasn't showed any indication that he's coming back this week, and there could be a bunch of different technical reasons for that, money reasons and whatever else. I don't think that they're going to trade him, because I don't think anybody is willing to give up what the Steelers want for him for a rental. There's no guarantee he's going to sign next year, and if you give up a bunch of draft picks, even though I don't really believe in draft picks, that's too much of a risk to take to not have him, unless you're a Super Bowl contending team, and I don't know of any of the Super Bowl contending teams that need a running back like that, not to make that kind of trade and give up that many picks. So you're kind of leveraging a lot. So I don't see a trade happening with them. And no, they're Super Bowl contenders now with James Conner, without Le'Veon. So when Le'Veon comes back, I think he's gonna be winded when he comes back, because he's not in game shape. We know that. Well, no matter how much he's been working out, you're not in game shape. So I don't think that they're gonna just all of a sudden turn him. I mean, he's gonna be their number 1 back, but I don't think James Conner's gonna get no carries. That just doesn't even make sense.
Le'Veon Bell should start.
Yes, Le'Veon Bell's going to start.
Okay.
I
don't like it.
Why don't you like it?
You got to earn. I'm a bit of a purist in the football, like being there. We talked about Cliff Avril. You got to be there to win. I just don't think Le'Veon deserves to come in and start after sitting out and tweeting from home.
He's not sitting out and tweeting because he doesn't feel like playing. He's sitting out and tweeting because he feels like he doesn't want to get his body run down, and he thinks he deserves to be paid. And I'm not going to tell somebody how to count their dollars. Do I like it? I mean, no. I wish Le'Veon was there, and because we didn't get our maybe I'm crazy fantasy draft set up in time, I drafted Le'Veon, and I didn't want to do that. So, I have some things, invested in that situation, and I still have him on my squad, obviously, because you got to do that. And so, I'd like to have him back, and he should be starting, getting lots of points, Le'Veon. That's what I expect from you.
Okay, let's see how fast we can go through this one.
Okay.
NBA is back. The Celtics and the Sixers are giving us the Eastern Conference Finals preview. The Warriors begin their 82-game quest to three-peat against the thunderless Westbrooks in the West. And LeBron, in his first game with the Lakers, is in Portland against the Trailblazers later this week. But I'm looking even further ahead. Joy, LeBron is winning MVP this year. With it or quit it?
Okay, first of all, NBA is back!
Yeah! Woo, 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 woo. It literally just left us. How dare they have an 8-month season while NFL only has a 6-month season.
It went so fast. All right, what was the question?
I basically said LeBron's going to be MVP this year.
Oh, yeah. I think I'm with that, actually.
Really?
I think I am.
Tell me why.
Well, because the thing is, LeBron could...
this.
Okay, I'll tell you why. LeBron could win the MVP every year, obviously.
Right.
As we know.
Yes.
And he doesn't because people get tired of giving the MVP to LeBron.
Exactly.
And this year, I think it's a unique situation where he could actually be rewarded for bringing a team back to life.
A team like the Lakers.
And he hasn't won an MVP since 2013 with the Heat.
Right.
Which is silly. He deserved to win one with Cleveland. But
he should have won it 5 years in a row. And they decided to give it to Derrick Rose because they were pissed off that he left Cleveland for Miami.
Thank you for saying that.
I'm sorry.
Because it's the truth.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, he should have had that legacy of LeBron.
It's the truth, and Derrick Rose is the most fraudulent MVP of all time.
Just saying.
I mean, I'm not saying he didn't have a great season. Like, he clearly was in the MVP race, but LeBron clearly should have won the MVP.
But I'm saying that's what the start of these NBA writers and people covering the NBA analysts trying to make sure LeBron never gets
Yeah, stop spreading the MVP around. Like, LeBron, if the Lakers are successful, which we know that they're going to be, he deserves to win the MVP this year. And obviously, like the usuals are favored: Anthony Davis, Giannis, James Harden, Kawhi. Kawhi's sleeper too, though. I like Kawhi too.
I'm very interested in how the Kawhi Drake merger works out.
I think it's going to be awkward because Drake is a very outgoing person, considering he's an international superstar rapper. And Kawhi, stop making fun of Kawhi's laugh, okay? I have a weird laugh too, and I don't appreciate that. He does. He sounds crazy.
Anyway, also, so who do you think's coming out of the East?
I just don't want to give this basic ass prediction.
Tell me why and make it less basic.
It's the same reason everybody else is going to make that prediction. Okay, first of all, the Warriors are in the West. Okay,
I don't want them to be, though.
And I think it's going to be Lakers Warriors in the Western Conference Finals.
I'm here for it. Adam Silver's here for it.
I'm also praying for that.
Oh my gosh.
Please, basketball gods,
yes.
give that to us.
Let's put that into existence.
We deserve
now.
that, basketball gods. Okay.
Western Conference Finals, LeBron versus the other guys, the Monstars.
Yeah, the Warriors will win because they just have more. So it's going to be the Warriors. They're also going to win the championship again. So that's just how I feel. But in the East, I think it's going to be Toronto and Boston in the Western Conference Finals.
Yes.
I mean Eastern Conference Finals. I'm sorry. And
Toronto and Boston.
I want to say. I have to say Boston. They just have too much. Like they have too much.
Brad Stevens.
If everyone is healthy, I think they come out of the East even if everyone isn't healthy.
Right.
But
yeah, because they did last year.
If everyone is healthy, they will take it to a Game 7 in the finals against the Warriors. I just don't think that they have enough to beat the Warriors. Yeah. But it really could go either way. But I think that they need all of their pieces. Like if they lose one major piece, they're not going to be able to beat the Warriors. They may still get to the finals, but you have to have all their pieces for that to be a competitive series. Warriors just have too much, and the Warriors have been there before. Like they're just a machine at this point.
I'm been obsessed because we've been talking about GOAT a lot. I've been obsessed with who is the Phil Jackson of our generation, and I think Brad Stevens can do that. I think Jason Tatum can be his Jordan, not in the sense of like being a dominant MVP every time, but they can make a run. I think because of that, because of Brad Stevens, Jason Tatum is going to be known as a better player than Ben Simmons at the end of his career because Ben Simmons is not going to win the rings. I want Ben Simmons and Jason Tatum to give us the LeBron-Kobe beef that we never had. And I think they can do it in the East.
No, I'm gonna disagree with a lot of that. Mainly because of the personalities needed to create the scenario
Jason Tatum is working with Kobe.
Okay, that's fine. I know that, but
Ben Simmons is working with LeBron.
Jason Tatum is great, huh?
He signed to him.
Right. All these are fun facts, okay? But you still need the personalities to go along with these beefs in order for them to be a reality.
That's true.
Also, I need the championships before I need a championship before I can envision Brad Stevens as the next Phil Jackson. Yeah, he's got to have a championship.
Okay.
Just like one.
That's fair.
But I do think you should not sleep on the Raptors this year. Last year, year before that, this year, listen, we haven't seen Kawhi Leonard play basketball in a long time, so maybe everyone forgot. Kawhi Leonard is very, very fucking good at basketball.
He is.
Very, very fucking good at basketball.
Yeah.
Raptors are going to be a problem this year. I know in the past I've been very hard on the Raptors. I've been very hard on them, but this year I am a believer, and let me just be clear, it's all because of Kawhi. But I think don't sleep on the Raptors this year.
Are we allowed to
Don't allow the monotonous fun or the fun regular season into the playoffs where they go for the last couple years.
Right.
Trick your mind into this is a different team this year.
Are we allowed to sleep on the Spurs? We're allowed to sleep on the Spurs.
DeJounte Murray, that sucks.
We're allowed to take a nap on the Spurs.
That sucks, Ashley.
Yeah.
Ashley was so sad when she heard about that.
Rightfully so.
That sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. Tell us how much it sucks, Ashley.
How much does it suck, Ashley?
Why
to be a Spurs fan.
Bring this up? Honestly,
because
it's really a bummer. It's a bummer.
Do the Spurs have a point guard right now?
Yeah.
Pretty sure the answer is no.
We talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
So do you think they make the playoffs?
Of course. Yes.
Yeah, they probably do.
Underrated
actually.
uniforms, Spurs.
Strong.
How old were you when the last time the Spurs didn't make the playoffs?
What kind of weird factoid is that?
What year was it?
8 because it was 95.
95?
Tim Duncan got drafted in 96. It's not.
I was 8, actually.
No, you were 11, and it was 20 years.
Huh?
Ooh.
No one cares about this! Hear ye, hear ye. Jimmy Butler is petty. think it's pretty obvious to everyone why, but he demanded a trade from the Timberwolves right before the season started. Obviously, that trade has not happened yet.
Nope.
He started quite a stir in practice last week, allegedly saying, you need me, which is true. And you can't win without me, which is kind of true. Right. And then, it was like this whole thing, and then he did an interview with Rachel Nichols and basically said that...
But I thought the interview confirms it's no longer allegedly that he said those things.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
He also destroyed Karl Anthony Towns and Wiggins, saying that they have talent but no work ethic. He's saying a lot. And then he was asked if he expects a negative reaction from fans if he is still there on Friday for their season opener. Or actually, the season opener is on Wednesday in San Antonio. Friday is the home opener. He said, sure, go ahead and boo me. It ain't going to change the way I play. That's going to make me smile more, which is very petty.
True.
So please come on with it. He doesn't want to be there. So I don't really understand what the Timberwolves are doing. Like, you're just going to have to take less and make a trade. Like, he can't. This is not going to work.
Why?
It's not going to work.
Who does he think he is to do this, though?
I mean,
that's the real question.
He feels like he should be paid more, and
we all do.
Correct. Fair, but we all don't have the leverage that Jimmy Butler has, obviously. Like,
what leverage does he have? He's just causing havoc, and he's sitting there.
But if he stays there, it's just they're not going to win with this. You can't win with this environment. They have to trade him. It's going to be very interesting what happens, obviously, because it doesn't seem like they're able to get this done. But I mean, he's going full petty mode, that's for sure. So you're okay with these actions? Blowing up on the team, calling Rachel Nichols like, hey, I'm about to blow up on the team. Can we do an interview in front of a pool table right afterwards? Cool. I'll get you a chair. I mean, that's the space that they had. Look, I don't love it, but he feels like he needs to get paid. That's what you got to do. Like, I feel like there's other ways that you can go about doing this.
This is the worst look for millennials.
What? First of all, I'm a millennial. What does this have to do with me?
The fact that we are entitled so much so that we make decisions that are so selfish that at the end there's no real game plan. There's no tangible
game plan is
game
to get
plan.
Traded, which will eventually happen because there's no way this is going to work here. Do I think that he is a max player? Do I think he's going to go somewhere and be able to lead a team on his own to a championship? No. Do I think he's probably a little overvalued to himself? But that's what he feels like he's worth. But we've seen Jimmy Butler. Like, we know what Jimmy Butler is. He's not a number one guy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I've challenged people, and I'll ask you now. At the end of Jimmy Butler's career, who is he to make me think that he's worth this headache?
He's going to have to prove it, but that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to get to a team that's his. But I don't understand how it's going to happen. But this is what he feels like he needs to do.
Yeah, but
we're going to find out.
He took all these players off the bench, right?
Yes. Yeah, third string.
He went up against Karl Anthony Towns, and Andrew Wiggins,
right? Worst draft pick ever.
Also true. And beat them. He beat them. He put his money where his mouth is.
Hold on for a second. All right. All of that stuff's fun. Did you just say Andrew Wiggins is a worse pick than Anthony Bennett? Because Anthony Bennett is
for narrative purposes.
Okay, but just to be clear, for factual purposes, Anthony Bennett is.
It's just a bad. Minnesota. When are we gonna talk about Minnesota other than that?
Well, I can't dispute that. All right, it's time for Lit List.
Is it?
At the night show, ooh.
Yes.
The Cowboys won a game. Yay!
Don't do that.
Oh, sweet Cowboys. Remember last year and the year before that when they were just the most interesting team in football? And
they
now,
still are.
Oh, they are?
Because they're winning games now.
That's a fucking lie.
You know how bad the NFC East is? That the Cowboys are the only team with a winning record.
That's also just not true because they're 3-3. That's not a winning record.
Who got a winning record in the NFC East?
Literally no one.
Okay.
Washington.
Oh, Washington. That's how bad the NFC East is.
They're
My
not,
bad. That's what it is. That's how bad.
What's Washington's record?
They're 3-2. They haven't, and they play us next, and we're gonna beat them, and then we'll be 4-3, and they'll be 3-3.
So like you're saying, the NFC East is trash.
Yeah.
But anyway, the Cowboys dropped a 40 burger on Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
On Sunday, which look, I'm not going to overreact to the whole Jacksonville's done thing, but I did say that already. But I mean, the thing about it is you're going to have games like that, like Cleveland and the Chargers, which we'll get to in a moment.
Right. Yes.
You're going to have really bad games like that. But the Cowboys have just not been interesting this year, so that was a fun game for them.
How have they not been?
I mean, I'm just going to throw this out there as a suggestion: just invite McGregor to every single game from here on out.
Clearly, a good luck charm.
He's your lucky charm.
He's dripping in swag. Even in a loss, he's dripping in swag.
However, he lost some points with that toss.
Oh no question. I'm convinced that he gave a speech to the team pregame, and they did not see the throw, because if they would have seen the throw, they would not have played as well. You know what I mean? Like, it was kind of confusing to see what led up to them actually playing well.
I feel like if you can't do something, just don't do it. Like, just because you're an athlete does not mean you're athletic at all things.
Right.
And he threw that football like a shot put.
What about the opening pitch? A lot of people can't do that, and they're forced to do it.
If you're gonna accept the opening pitch, practice. Because throwing a baseball, if you've not thrown a baseball in a long time, is harder than it looks.
Yes.
Especially far.
Yes. He should have kicked
and
the field goal.
everyone's watching you, and it's going to be on camera.
Yeah.
It's not a good look.
Right.
Like those get remembered, and it's like, come on. Like, honestly, I've thrown out a first pitch at Marlins Park before, which was a great honor. And
roll it back when it happens.
And I hit home plate, which I consider to be an accomplishment. Like, I'm not a baseball player. I didn't play softball. I don't have that arm motion, but I did practice before. Just give it a couple tosses because I don't want to look stupid.
I don't agree with the shaming of any black person not throwing well in the opening pitch. Not a fan of it. Not a fan of it. Not a fan.
I mean, because black people don't play baseball, or
I didn't say that. You did.
No, I did not actually.
Okay.
One of the most famous baseball players of all time is black.
I just said I don't like it.
Jackie Robinson, very black, very famous, very influential.
Yes. He's both very black. I think he's very famous for being very black.
I don't understand what you're saying. All right, we're moving on. By the way, you have Kleenex everywhere still. I'm just going to tell you. Yeah, Brandon decided to like destroy a Kleenex with his
I had to blow my nose.
You did not blow your nose. You blew through a Kleenex.
I had
violently.
To blow my nose.
It wasn't even that serious. Okay, you have one on your eyebrow right here.
Okay.
And then it's on the other side of your nose.
Like
all right, whatever. You deserve this for doing that. Okay, so LSU beat Georgia.
Yes.
There's a lot of upsets this weekend. Very disappointed in my Hurricanes, by the way. 36-16. And then, of course, because, I don't know, you guys are new, they rushed the field, so they were fined. Here's the thing about rushing the field. Stop rushing the damn field.
I thought we was over that.
I mean, it's such an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment. You shouldn't be embarrassed. LSU should be embarrassed, okay? You're not Rice, all right?
Right.
Get your shit together.
Right.
Like, you've won national championships. You do not need to be rushing the field.
Yes.
It's embarrassing. All of you, every single one of you, should be thoroughly embarrassed.
Completely agree.
It's not about you. Act like you've been there before. I mean, really, you really didn't deserve to win if you rushed the field. If you have a national championship, you are no longer allowed to rush the field or the court.
True. Amen. Amen. At Notre Dame, I think it was my sophomore, junior year. We played Utah after like losing a couple of games, and Utah was ranked like top 20. We beat Utah at Notre Dame Stadium. At Notre Dame, we beat Utah. The fans rushed the field. It was junior year. They rushed the field, and we were pissed. We're like, y'all don't get the off of here. What are y'all doing? It's a terrible look.
Embarrassment. That is
Utah.
An embarrassment.
Utah.
Yes, but LSU's lit for winning. Yeah. But I'm gonna knock you just one touch because that. No. I mean,
Ed Orgeron though.
Please. I mean, we don't deserve him.
Create the bus for him now.
We don't deserve him. Goodness. Okay, and then finally my Dolphins. Look at my Dolphins and Brock Osweiler. Yeah. So Tannehill's injured, surprisingly.
God loves Brock.
And they had a nice overtime win over the Bears. Kenyon Drake was looking like he was going to have a really bad week. Fumble in there on the 1 yard line. But he was redeemed.
He was tore up.
He was redeemed. Yeah, because I mean that sucks. Like that's going to be a bad look. But Brock Osweiler, look at that. He's an NFL quarterback again. Who'd have thunk it?
I think somebody was watching Brock Osweiler tape and decided to show out this weekend or Monday Night Football. Bethard. He saw Brock. He was like, I can do it. I can get out there and win this game.
Yeah. Also, I thought I told you the Packers are not that good this year. Yeah. All right. Finally, loser power rankings. Loser power rankings. Loser power rankings. These are the losers of the week. All right. Who made that line on the Chargers-Browns game?
Vegas, I guess.
Why?
Right? The Vegas guy.
Okay, so the Browns entered the game against the Chargers at 1 point home favorites. Huh? Does everyone forget that the Chargers are consistently okay and that they also have Phillip Rivers?
Good.
They're actually a talented team. Right. They're actually low-key good.
They only sneak in the playoffs every year because no one talks about them all year.
Yeah. I mean, I understand they're a bore fest, but
because I watched the game because I was watching my Browns defense just give up so many points, and then I went to see Baker. The Chargers' offensive line is great. Their weapons are I was like, Damn. Is Philip Rivers the only thing holding back the Chargers?
I don't know what it is, but when Colin was talking about the line is basically a pick 'em, I was like, why? How? It's still the Browns. Like, I don't understand we're all excited about Baker Mayfield and like, ooh, they won some games this year. They didn't win any games last year. We are, but just relax. I mean, I didn't think they're going to get their asses kicked that bad, but ugh.
Negative 1 point.
What were you thinking?
Negative
Okay,
1 point.
so John Mara, or Mara, whatever you fancy, had a really good message for Odell Beckham at the fall owners meeting. He went off.
Man.
He had things to say. He'd like a cup of tea, and he'd like to share some time with you.
Man.
So he was asked about the comments Odell made to Josina on ESPN, and obviously he was talking about Eli and all those other things. We've all talked about that. Well, he said, John Mara, owner of the Giants, I wish he would create headlines by his play on the field as opposed to what he says and does off the field. I think he needs to do a little more playing and a little less talking. Well, just to be technical, he can only play on Sundays, so he can't like do more playing, and he's not like sitting out.
Okay.
So anyway, he also said he's embarrassed about the Giants' 1-5 start. So are we. It's pretty disappointing, and I'm sick about it. And he also got sensitive when Eli got brought up. He said, I don't know what you mean by going all in with Eli. He's been our quarterback. He's still under contract. I know he's the punching bag right now, but a lot of guys need to play better. It's not just him. All right, here's a couple things. First of all, you're the owner. All right, so you're the one that paid Odell, and you knew what Odell was before you paid Odell. He's pretty clear about who Odell was. And I'm also searching through Odell's comments, and I'm trying to find the lie, and it's not there. Where's the lie?
Where's the line when he said, though? Where's the line when he said John Moore wasn't lying either?
Odell can't throw it to himself.
No, of course.
And
I got
Eli's stinky. And guess what? You chose Saquon Barkley over a quarterback. And there were a lot of quarterbacks in this draft.
They're using him. They are using him. They might ruin his career. He had 14 receptions at one point in a game. They're running back.
I like Saquon. Okay, and he's huge for them. I'm not saying they made the wrong pick. I'm just saying you did choose to not take a quarterback and ride out with Eli, the guy who got benched last year for Geno Smith. Not that I approved of that, but also if they had benched Eli for Davis Webb, however terrible Davis Webb is, I wouldn't have had a problem with it. My only problem was that you benched him for Geno Smith, and we knew what Geno Smith was. This is your creation. You decided to do this. Now all of a sudden you want to be mad that Odell's out there doing exactly what Odell does?
Yeah.
I just feel like organizations, chaos starts from the top. Everybody's not just down here like getting checks from the ownership and just acting crazy. Like the owner, especially an owner as visible as John Mara,
Giants, New York.
Dude, this is what you created.
Yeah.
You designed this masterpiece. So you want to be out here criticizing Odell, you paid him. He's not going to be different. If anything, he's going to be enabled to talk because he got that money. He got the bag. What's he worried about? Nothing. And Eli is Eli. Like it's I get it. And I was in front of it. I was pissed they benched him last year because it was for Geno Smith.
Right.
That was super disrespectful. But I also didn't like Macadoodle or whatever his name was. Okay.
Macadoodle.
And you got to change the culture. Like this is, and that starts with Eli. Sorry, I understand he won 2 championships, but you can't get caught up in nostalgia. Like it's time to move on.
I would have liked to have seen Eli take a Josh McCown role this year. Like it would have been. I'm interested in the Jets being good with Sam Darnold, but it would have been even better if it was Darnold.
Honestly, like I don't even feel like Sam Darnold's personality fits with the Jets. Like the Jets' whole brand.
I don't know what the Jets' personality is at this point.
That's true. All right, and finally, oh my God, I've got things to say. All right, so the Chiefs, they lost to the Patriots, which we talked about. And Tyreek Hill ran off the field, 3 minutes left, caught a touchdown, big touchdown pass from Patrick Mahomes, ran to the edge of the field because that's what you do when you run real fast, like Tyreek Hill does.
Slow down.
And he stopped himself on the edge of the stadium where the fans were standing, and they immediately started screaming and hollering, as fans ought to do. They flipped him off, which I obviously don't care about, discussed that before. And then someone decided to throw a beer in his face. Now, just some other notes. The guy has been banned from Gillette Stadium, which is pretty much impossible to enforce, but I'm assuming he was a season ticket holder or something. I don't know how else you would find him. Right. And then the police department in Foxborough have charged him with disorderly conduct and throwing an object at a sporting event. And now, apparently Tyreek Hill is probably suing the guy, which I fully approve of.
What?
Sue his ass. No. Yes, because if Tyreek Hill climbed... All right, let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
Let's walk you through this. First of all, all of those people, and I've said this multiple times, all of those people, none of them have had hands put on them before. And the way that you know that is because that's how they behaved.
Yeah.
Okay, now I've had hands put on me before.
Right.
So I know if I decide to behave this way, there is a chance, there's a strong opportunity, hands are going to be put upon me.
It's a reality.
Which I don't want.
Right.
Because I've experienced that before. I know what that's like.
Yes.
Okay, I prefer to be untouched. All right, these people have never been touched because you don't just don't behave that way. Okay, it's facts. All right,
I don't disagree with that.
There's nothing to disagree with. It's facts. All right. First of all, second, I don't understand this mentality of like, oh well, fans have always behaved that way and they've always thrown batteries and always used the N-word and that was just like you just get used to it. I'm off the normalization shit, okay? It's 2018. We're not accepting the bullshit anymore.
Clearly the Patriots are too. By banning
them because they have to. Yeah. And thirdly, like this is what I was talking about with Habib. I don't care that somebody insulted your family. Cry me a fucking river, okay? The NFL players have been dealing with this shit forever, literally forever. Basketball players too. We know baseball players deal with it. This comes with it. People are going to yell at you. All right, so you have to control yourself. And in this situation, it wasn't just that people were yelling at him. They just threw something on him. Throw a beer on me and see what the pops off. And if that was my brother, okay, and I'm in the stands and someone threw a beer on him, I'm not here talking to you today.
Right.
Okay? Because it's go time.
I understand
I just I can't even process the mentality of like this player who I don't know, who I have paid money to see entertain me, to have entertained me, because that's what you're paying for, right? You're not paying to just see the Patriots run around and play tag with each other. Right. You're playing for the other team also. Of course. Okay. You feel entitled enough to then assault them, because if you're out in the streets and you throw a beverage on someone, that is assault. That's how it works. You call the police. That's an assault. Okay. So you choose to assault this person, and I'm supposed to be like, yeah, that's cool. That just happens. Out of here with that.
Joy. We're no longer surprised by stupidity.
I'm not
Trump's
saying
in office. We're not surprised by stupidity.
I'm not surprised.
All that stuff can happen. Tyreek Hill taking legal measures against whoever threw a beer at him in Gillette Stadium is crazy to me.
No, it's not. Because if he would have climbed into the stands and punched that guy in the face, you bet he's getting sued.
Yeah, of course you can't.
So players have to be protected.
I understand.
Is all
but
I'm
like
saying.
in this new,
I'm not for like, go sue that person. Sue. But it's the principle of the matter.
But he's not going. He's not in danger by having beer on his lips.
No, but it doesn't matter. It's not about danger. It's the principle of it. That didn't do anything to hurt Tyreek Hill. Okay, it's the principle of it. People cannot feel like they can throw things on players. And if a player climbs into the stands, that player is what? A thug, suspended, fined, and it's the biggest outrage show you've ever seen. And before everyone starts coming at me about his domestic violence stuff, let me just please say this: I'm not the one at all. You can just Google it, and don't sit here and try and tell me that these drunkards on the corner or on the edge of the stadium who are flipping him off and yelling at him and throwing beer like, I'm standing up for domestic violence survivors everywhere by throwing this beer. Just miss me with it, and don't talk about like what he deserves or whatever else. Like the one has nothing to do with the other. Nothing.
Patriots fans.
I in no way endorse anything that he's done in his past, but it has nothing to do with the fact that someone feels entitled enough to do that, to behave that way. And it's not just Boston fans also. So miss me with that also. I have to just cover all the bases for all the trolls. All right, and that's all I have to say.
Boston's a hot spot though.
Not saying it's not, but I'm just saying it's not the only place it's happened. I've had hot dogs thrown at me in D.C. Yeah. I've had people follow me to my car in Miami. Seen it all. Don't even want to get into Jets fans.
Go Mets.
All right, what's in the Culture Report this week?
Last week, LeBron and Maverick Carter aired the second episode of the HBO series The Shop. This episode featured NBA stars Ben Simmons, Victor Oladipo, and October's very own Drizzy Drake. In this episode, LeBron speaks about his biggest failures in his career, losing to the Dallas Mavericks in 2011 finals, which led Drake to speak on his biggest obstacle of his career, last summer's beef with Pusha T and Kanye West. Drake revealed after telling Kanye about his son and playing him March 14th, the song about Drake's complicated relationship with his son's mother, Kanye decided to spill the tea to Pusha T, and the two decided to release a series of good music albums around Drake's release date. Drake is just another fan being let down by Kanye West, and the entire time I'm confused exactly why LeBron James decided to put himself in the middle of this historic moment, but I'm a fan of it.
Yeah, I actually like what LeBron's doing with The Shop. I like the whole scene.
But why? I love it.
But I also like the wine part of it.
That's the only part you really like about it.
I do like the wine part.
LeBron wine? Yes.
Yes. Because I love wine. Yeah, I stay away from the beefs.
I said that this all thing was going on. If you listen to the album, he talks about this specifically. And Kanye, what's crazy is this was probably recorded like probably around the time that him and Meek Mill squashed the beef, and Drake told y'all it was coming. Like everyone's been prophesizing that Kanye West is not the one, and he's out. And I've shed my tears. Oh,
are you finally realizing this?
I'm not apologizing.
I can't remember. Did we record a podcast before or after Kanye decided to hug Donald Trump in front of the entire world? It was before, so we haven't discussed that yet.
Did we?
Have we had a conversation about that?
We haven't.
Okay, because Kanye West hugged Donald Trump.
Yeah, he did. He was very excited too. It was at 12:59. It was at 12:56. It was on his phone. 12:56, October 10th. Kanye West hugged Donald Trump.
It's done. We're done here.
With Jim Brown right there. Which is solidifying your take on Jimmy B.
I've been having this take on Jim Brown for the longest.
Yes.
And people feel like it's some controversial hot take about Jim Brown. It ain't. Okay?
But
it ain't.
Yes.
It ain't. What got accomplished there? What got accomplished there, Jim Brown?
Kanye went to Africa.
Okay. Yes, Kanye went to Africa. You know he visited in Africa? No. Give that guy a little Google also.
Who he visited Africa?
I just can't.
Habib went to Africa?
No, Habib did not go to Africa. Okay, Habib is Russian. Anyway, the point is we're done with Kanye, and there's just not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot left there. I mean, if you know, we are a forgiving society, so if he wants to figure it out, cool. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
I was trying to find a Kanye song I could just like start singing as an apology to us leaving Kanye behind, but I don't think there is one.
Something's in my head. But
thanks for everyone. Kanye. Thanks for Drake. What? Thanks for Chance the Rapper. Yes. Thanks for Lupe Fiasco.
Thank you for all the good times.
Thanks for Adam Levine.
Bye-bye. All right, fun show this week. Thanks so much to Cliff Avril for joining us.
Yes.
Lots of fun stuff. Quick shout out to Maybe I'm Crazy podcast, Fantasy Football League.
Shouts.
I crushed this week. You know, James Conner, huge for me. Also Ben Roethlisberger with the Steeler connection. Mm-hmm. Don't know how that's going to work this week since we've got Drew Barnes. Right. We'll figure that out. But my opponent, Chronic Mass Deflator, decided to start Deshaun Watson. Huge mistake. And how are we doing in the league? How'd you do, actually?
The Browns let me down.
I'm in third place. Look at that.
You're third? Oh, well, I'm nipping at the heels. How did you get in front of me?
More points.
Oh, interesting. I have a lot of points, though.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, because both of us have most points in the league. The Patriots put me over. How do you say his name? Gronkowski?
Who the is Steve Gronkowski?
Steve Gronowski.
Steven Gostkowski.
Steven Gostkowski. Even Gostkowski is nice. 21 points. Woo! Making up for the Browns taking a point away from me. And then Adam Thielen is just, I mean, with him and Ezekiel Elliott and Patrick Mahomes, I may win the league. I may win the league.
All right. Well, shout out to Drunken Monkey, still at the top of the league. Yes. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Maybe I'm Crazy Podcast, and follow us on all of our social media pages at Maybe I'm Crazy Pod. Follow Brandon at Newman Show 99. Myself at Joy Taylor Talks. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next week.
Bye.
Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm not.